Good afternoon and happy holidays to everyone. We'll get started here shortly. Thanks for everybody joining us today. We'll be getting started shortly. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Voice for Pest Live. I'm Bryn Lingford, and with me, as always, is Michael Wheelock. Today's session is all about smarter mobility, how you can power your field teams, your office, and your customer experience using tools your team already carries every day. We'll be talking about mobile apps, brain and calling, device management, and where mobility and pest and lawn care is headed next. If you have any questions while we're going over the slides, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments, even while we're going through them.
Hey, Bren, thanks for kicking us off. Every month, guys, just to level set, we try to have one or two of these a month for you to keep you educated on your options and tools that are available for your disposal. We try to keep these calls brief in the interest of your time, so around 30 minutes. So we'll do our best on questions. If it's something in-depth or personalized to your scenario, we may take that offline. Hopefully everybody's okay with that. Brent, as we kick off, I always like to ask you a question, and we are hot and heavy in the holiday season. So Brent, I got to ask you, what is your favorite holiday tradition?
I would say every year on Christmas Eve, my family watches the Polar Express. So we make hot, yeah, we make hot chocolate and popcorn, and every Christmas Eve we'll watch the Polar Express.
Do you still hear the bell?
I do.
Awesome. Guys, if you have a great holiday tradition, please put them in the questions. We love to know what everybody does. I can tell you from my perspective, one of my favorite things is to watch the holiday cartoons that are on, even like the commercials. That's kind of cheesy, but you know, the Coca-Cola and those commercials, they just take me back to when I was a kid. So let's go ahead and jump in. You know, in our industry, mobility is definitely not a nice to have. It's a must have, and mobile communications are vital to the success of our business. We serve customers in the field while we interact with them behind the desk many times to schedule and coordinate things. A lot of our employees are out in the field interacting with customers, and that's why mobility is just so vital to our business. So today we're going to go through some tools and best practices around mobility to help everyone.
Perfect. Michael, what can everyone expect to walk away from today?
Yeah, so we're going to cover a couple of main things here. That, you know, the first is how you take your voice and extend it out into the mobile workforce. We're going to talk about a couple of different scenarios, like utilizing a mobile app, field mobile. We may even talk a little bit about mobile device management in there. And we're going to talk about how you can utilize these tools to simplify your employees' experience and improve customer communications. And then we're going to wrap it up with something that's maybe not outside your office, but branded calling ID, something that is vital as it becomes more important when we call customers, that they actually pick up and know who they're talking to. So when we talk about mobility, we're really talking about every role in the office. Whether you're a business user, a call center supervisor, you have access to the mobile app on your cell phone. The mobile app is where we start. It is great for a bring your own device environment. If you're not buying cell phones for your customers, getting them cell phones, the mobile app is a must have for you. It comes in both iPhone and Android variants, so it can be deployed on just about any device, including tablets. So we see that quite a bit in our business, where our technicians in the field are carrying tablets to document their day-to-day activities in their software, as well as that's what they're expected to use to communicate with customers. Well, the mobile app works great in those environments. One of my favorite features that's rolled out recently is the ability to do click to call out of softwares on iPhone. So you can literally be in your software, let's say it's Field Routes, PestPack, Real Green, Aspire, software like that out in the field, and you don't have to remember a customer's number and go over to our mobile app anymore, or you don't have to copy and paste that telephone anymore. You can simply set the phone up to where we're your default dialer. You click on that phone number, you click dial, and I use an iPhone, so I'm going off of an iPhone experience, and it will grab our mobile app to launch that outbound call. That means your customer sees your main business number if you want. They can see the employee's direct dial number if they're a salesperson or someone that you want to publish a direct dial number for. The calls can be recorded, and the calls can integrate into your software just like someone sitting at a desk in the office. So when you talk about visibility, you don't lose that visibility when you stand up from the desk. That click to call works best on iPhones. It does work on some Android devices, but Android is a little bit kind of like the Wild West, I'll say. There's different versions of Android, from Samsung to Google Pixel to third part. Moto is still out there, and they all run different operating systems. Even though it's Android at the core, they run different versions of it. So just work with our team if you have that to see if we can activate that feature for you.
Michael, how hard is it to use the mobile app?
The mobile app is so easy to use, and I use it every day. It's kind of funny, even sitting at my desk, I use this cell phone a lot of times to answer phone calls because I don't have a physical phone on my desk anymore. But not only is it easy, like we talked about, to launch or receive a call, and you receive calls just like you would a notification from any other application running on your phone. So somebody calls you and it's on the lock screen. You'll see your phone ringing. You'll see that it's a work call. You'll know that it's a work call. But it's also great from a feature set. You don't lose a lot of features when you move to the mobile environment. You can transfer calls, you can conference people on. We're not big fans of call parks, so we're going to discourage you from using that from some of our AI perspective. But you can set your do not disturb on even on your mobile device that allows you to take some time off in the evenings. Hopefully you guys are slowing down and you're able to do that this time of year.
What can customers expect to unlock with our mobile apps?
Well, so not only can they, and I skipped ahead a little bit here, but not only can they call and text, but the integration into the phone system makes it effortless with the mobile app. So now you're getting that documentation, the software that we talked about, but have you ever pictured actually listening to a mobile employee's conversation live? You know, from a phone system perspective, it looks just like another phone on your system. So just like you can listen into phone calls and offer coaching on the system for desk users, you can definitely do that on the mobile app as well.
With devices and AI right now, a lot of things going on in the world and people relying so heavily on their mobile devices, how does control come into play?
You know, that's a great question. And you know, there's been a blind spot for years around control on mobile devices. We're going to talk about two different elements of that. One is the voice channel. The second is actually the use of the phone. And I'll kind of get into that here in the end, but let's talk about the voice channel first. So you may not know, but Affiliated Technology Solutions, Voice for Pest, Voice for Turf, actually has its own cellular network. So we can actually be your cell service provider. There's a lot of advantages to our cellular network over others. Not only are they flat rate plans, allowing you to predict and many times reduce your costs, meaning they all include unlimited data, but you've got the benefit of working with our team. It's kind of funny. I was talking to a customer yesterday and they're trying to move one of their legacy numbers over to our system that's with Verizon. And they just went on about how big a pain the support was with Verizon. And Verizon kept sending them to AI agents or AI bots to talk with on trying to get the information that they want. And those bots didn't understand them and couldn't help them. You know, with us, we're always a one phone call away with your support, and it's the same team that's supporting your business phones that would be supporting your cell phones. And then the last is with our cellular network, we ensure that every call made through that phone utilizes business resources. That means a employee can never call a customer without you missing that conversation. Like most of our customers, you want it in your software, you want that AI summary in your software. Well, this is the solution that does it for you. Now, we're not a multi-billion-dollar company like some of these cellular providers in the world, but we utilize AT&T's towers for our access to ensure that the clarity and coverage is the best that it can be. In addition, an unpublished enhancement that we've made this year that I want to let everybody know about is if you're in an area where your office is not well covered by the cellular network, we can actually turn on Wi-Fi calling for you. So it's something that you need to ask us for. It doesn't get, because it's still in beta testing, but it's the last part of the beta testing. But that means you're sitting at your office, and like here in my home office, I get 1 bar of signal sometimes. Well, I can utilize Wi-Fi calling to ensure that I'm always available to my customers when they need it. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, so let me come back to this slide here real quick. You know, one of the benefits of our solution is the ability to manage that voice platform. There's another communication channel that we need to monitor as a business to ensure that employees are using that cell phone for business practices. Now, if you've spent any time getting to know me in the past, I've probably told you a story when it comes to mobility about one of my customers, because I always like to convey lessons that we can learn in the industry. This customer at the time was not our customer, and they allowed their employees to carry their personal cell phones in the car. They had a mobile app like we were talking about. But the challenge was their employee had an accident. So they think they rear-ended someone. And unfortunately, the employee was accused of distracted driving. That's a big problem in our industry that we have to care for. How do we lock that down? Well, carrying a corporate company-owned cell phone, we take a charge of the voice channel like we've talked about before, but what about the data channel, how they use that phone? Well, that's where tools like a mobile device manager, MDM for short, come into play. Now, we don't sell a mobile device manager, but we work with many of them. My favorite is a company called Manage Engine. Happy to talk to anybody offline about how they can get started with them. But it's going to allow you to not only control what apps are downloaded on the phone to ensure that your employees are not using YouTube or Facebook or social media. I'm dating myself with Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I got to go to what my kids use now these days. But not only can they not download those apps, they can only use company approved apps, but you can actually prevent them from going to websites that you don't want them to go to. So if you have an employee that's watching Joe Rogan on Spotify and you don't want him to do that, you can lock that down, ensuring that the employee is only using the phone for work reasons. Now, this customer that I referenced before handed out a corporate issued device that had an MDM on it that locked it down to business applications, and they utilized our SIM to take control of the voice channel. The combination of those two created a compliant device for them, and they implemented a policy where their employees can no longer bring their personal cell phones in the car because it was, or in their truck, because it was just too big of a liability for them. And it was actually something their insurance company required of them, is to lock it down and implement that policy. The employees can still call home if they need to, no big deal. It just, they're going to see the business number, their wife, spouse, whoever is going to see the business number, but they still have access to that in case of an emergency. If the wife or spouse needs to get a hold of them, they simply call the office, or we can give that employee a direct dial number that the spouse can use to call them, and they can get a hold of them right away. Sound good, Bren?
Yeah, but how hard is this all to set up?
You know, it's easier than you expect. So to take advantage of the field mobile solution, you do need a carrier unlocked phone because we're putting our independent network on there. So if you have a phone that's financed with AT&T, they're not going to want to unlock it. Even if it's one of those freebie phones that you get from them, they tend to keep it locked down until it is paid off. That is the hidden contract in it. But if you don't have a phone that's unlocked, we have resources that we can point you to low cost options to help you get unlocked phones for business reasons. Then it's as simple as scanning a QR code to deploy our service on the phone. And then the mobile device management is something that you set up. Like I said, we don't sell that, but we'll point you to a team that can support you on that and help you get started with some recommendations around that.
Sounds good.
All right.
Ooh, this one.
So, yeah, Brandon calling at you.
No. Ooh.
Super exciting stuff.
It is. I am very over spam calls or not knowing what number is actually calling me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is what that resolves for you. So If you're getting feedback from your customers or you have a lot of calls that are going to voicemail when you try to reach your customer, I highly recommend branded calling ID. 80% of Americans do not answer calls from people that they don't know about. Right now, best case scenario, your caller ID, if you don't have branded calling ID, comes across as your name and number. Not every phone will support the name, not every network will support the name, but best case scenario. Worst case scenario, your number comes across spam and gets immediately filtered. If your number has been labeled as spam, first use case of this, through branded calling ID, your business goes through a vetting process. So it's not an instantaneous, you sign the proposal and it gets turned on. There is a governing body that will come in and evaluate your business and ensure you're not a spammer, okay? But it's going to remove that spam labeling from your calls. It's supported for remote parties that are on T-Mobile based and Verizon based networks. So that covers at least 60% of the users in the industry, and we expect that AT&T will come on board here very shortly. They're in queue to come on board with it. Now, the exciting thing is not only does it remove that spam labeling, but it ensures that your company branding shows. Yes, in a lot of cases, it will even show your logo. So the screenshot that we're looking at came off of an iPhone that we made some test calls when we were first testing this out. It's running on the T-Mobile network. So you see down below, it says T-Mobile verified business call. Not only does it show the company name and the telephone number, but it shows the logo. As well, this solution can be set up to display the calling intent. Maybe that's pest control, fertilization, appointment confirmation. There's many different ways that you can use this, okay? It is an optional service, but I strongly recommend that everyone on this call evaluate this to ensure that their outbound calls are answered by their customers. As I mentioned, there is a vetting process. You need to budget 2 months from when you execute the project and you get started to being live. We're going to try to pull that in as best we can, but there's an outside governing body that we're dependent on getting you certified with. We'll guide you through the process of any paperwork that they require, but they do have a bottleneck. Verizon came on in the past 60 days as a supported network, and when Verizon came on, we saw an influx of new projects for this solution. Well, there's a queue that built up a little bit in that. Get ahead of AT&T if nothing else. You won't be charged for calls going to an AT&T based subscriber. They only allocate calls that are chargeable calls for this solution on the networks that it's supported. Ensure that your company is registered, vetted, and approved. So then when AT&T comes on board, you'll be able to cover the complete domain of the cellular ecosystem.
The power of trust, Michael. What happens whenever customers trust the call?
You know what, Brent? I didn't know I was going to be a marriage counselor today, and we were going to have to talk about the power of trust. No, I'm kidding, everyone. You know, we are truly, and I say we as a community, are our customers' trusted advisors and trusted providers. It is important that we build that rapport with our customers. The first step of that is them knowing who you are when you're calling. I should highlight one more feature that this branded calling ID includes, which is the ability to prevent other companies from using your telephone number. There's a technology called spoofing, where sometimes, I'll get a call that says Children's Hospital. It's not Children's Hospital. It's somebody that has stolen their phone number. They didn't steal their dial tone, but they're just mimicking that caller ID on that outbound call to try to get somebody to answer because they are a genuine spammer. When you register for branded calling ID, It secures your phone number for your communications and your communications only, so that someone like that can't go out there and steal it because of the way that we integrate with these networks. They know that only coming through our solution should be your caller ID, not through someone else. It's going to increase your answer rates, and we all know at the end of the day, answer rates equate to closed deals, equate to revenue to the bottom line, and candidly, that's why we're all here today. So all of this combined makes for a future-ready mobility solution. There is constant enhancements happening into the solution and into the network, whether you're a bring your own device environment and you want to take advantage of the mobile app, you decide to invest in company issued cell phones and take that control to the next level. We can ensure that your employees are using your devices for company reasons, that your customers are answering the telephone calls when you call them, and that you're fully compliant and capturing all of those communications and the software that you already use. So Brent, we try to stay under 30 minutes. I think we've done a good job today. Did we have any questions before we let everybody go off to their holiday and have a great Christmas or Hanukkah or figgy pudding, whatever holiday you celebrate?
Not any that I see right now, but
Guys, we're going to hold on for a few minutes in case any more questions come in or anybody has questions. Be sure to submit them in the questions section. If that is the intent of the content that we had prepared for you today, we didn't want to overwhelm you right before the holidays. Our next session is January 14th. If you don't have a question, but if you have a topic that you want us to cover on that January 14th session, be sure to put it in chat. We love your feedback. Brent, doesn't look like we are going to have any questions coming in today, so we'll let everybody get on with their holiday. If we don't talk to you before then, George said, who do we contact to review these new features? Absolutely. George, if you'll just email us at sales@affiliatedtech.com, we will actually, it's hello@affiliatedtech. I always give the wrong one. I apologize for that. I'm sure our marketing department is on listening and they want to take me to the whipping post right now. But hello@affiliatedtech.com, and we will definitely get in contact with you.
We have another one. Do the techs have access to the actual customer phone numbers?
So Ed, our recommendation on that is that you utilize your software, Field Routes, PestPack, Real Green, Aspire, BrioStack, any number of those for customer information. That's where that click to call comes in very important, whether it's through the mobile app or it's through the cellular environment. That way you're not having to maintain separate databases of telephone numbers. Makes everything work well. You're using that software already today to control your jobs, so your customers should have that right there. But if you've got a specific use case that I'm not accounting for, let us know. We're happy to definitely look at your situation and find the right solution for you. And I think I said hello@Affiliated Tech before, didn't I? Instead of hello@Voice for Pests. Boy, somebody's in the holiday mood. Somebody's ready to watch Christmas cartoons.
Yep.
Guys, not seeing any more questions come in. Want to wish everybody a wonderful rest of 2025. We're looking forward to seeing you in 2026. We're always available for you, and please let us know how we can help.
We'll send a video recording after this when it's finished, but thank you all for joining. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.